What's going on, everyone? Moose here, Cigars and Gear, and welcome to episode 2 of FAFO Friday. I have some interesting stuff to talk about. When we talk about FAFO Friday, we're talking about defending yourself, right? This whole series is dedicated to defending you. And we're going to talk about this episode coming up next. All right, so let's talk about today's episode. Last week we talked about the Byrna SD, which is a pepper ball launcher. Great tool. And the nice thing about having something like that is the fact that it creates distance from you to your would-be attacker or whomever or whatever you're defending yourself against. It could be an animal. I mean, it could be a dog. It could be, a rabid raccoon. I mean, seriously, it could be anything. I know it sounds silly, and maybe it is a little silly, but don't judge me. I'm just here to talk about different ways to defend yourself. So one thing that I do get in response sometimes from people that I know, or sometimes people that just want to randomly email me and have long drawn out conversations via email, which I'm okay with too. And that is, well, listen, I'm just not really comfortable having a gun or a pepper ball launcher or something like that in my house because I've got little kids. And listen, and I understand, owning a firearm or some kind of other self-defense mechanism is absolutely something that you have to dedicate your extra carefulness with, right? I mean, you have to take precautionary measures to ensure that a child is not going to come in contact with that and, potentially hurt himself, herself, or somebody else. So I completely get it. It isn't for everybody. And I'm not here to judge you on whether or not you should or shouldn't protect yourself with a firearm or something therein of. So I understand. So I thought I'd do FAFO Friday this week on some basic household items that you can use for self-defense. Now let's face it, the list could go on for days and days, right? I could literally walk through my house and in every room, I'm sure I could find something to defend myself in just about every inch of the room, right? A lamp, a chair, the list goes on, right? Anything you could pick up and throw at somebody, right? But let's talk about a little bit more practical stuff that is actually really good for defense. And one thing I want to talk about is a pocket knife, right? Having a pocket knife, this is something that most of us carry everywhere that we go. If you don't, maybe it's time for you to do it. This is something that stays in your control. It's something that, if it's in your pocket, your child isn't going to come into contact with it. And it's something that's readily accessible to you, right? So even like this SOG even has a little lock on it. So if you have young children, if it's locked, you can't even open the blade, right? So, I mean, they would have to have it for some time to figure out to unlock. So I'm just making a reference that, there's an option, a small knife. Now, granted, there is a difference between a knife for defense and a firearm or like a pepper ball launcher or even pepper spray for that matter, is the fact that it's no longer a distance thing. This is hands-on. This is me and you, face to face, mano a mano, woman a woman, whatever they say. I don't know. You get it, right? So, but it is an option. Another thing that I personally use in my home, it sits by my front door, is something that you can find at just about any garage sale across the United States or maybe even overseas. And you could certainly find them in every big box store. And that is the T-ball bat. right? This is an aluminum T-ball bat that is, I got it at a garage sale for like $2. Kid you not, I bought 3 of them. They had this one, they had a wooden one, and then they had a full-size bat, and I think they were like $2 a piece. I bought all 3 of them, right? Because this is something that even if you're a smaller person, like a grandma, or, you know, maybe a grandpa, and, you know, in your days of being a young strapping lad or lassie or just a little up, this is light enough that, you know, a good, you know, I mean, you don't want to get hit by this. And I'm not saying that, you know, this is definitely going to make or break whatever's happening, but it is certainly enough that, you know, with a little bit of effort, you can cause a lot of bit of damage. So, you know, this is something that, you know, you could certainly have. I keep one by my front door, one by my back door, and it's nothing that my child ever looks at and goes, hey, there's something. No, it's a bat, you know. I don't even think he's ever picked it up. Just saying. So, there's an option. Another option, and this is something that I know everybody has in their home, a hammer. This is one heck of a self-defense item, right? If you had to, this is it. You know, I would not want to get hit by this. Not even by my 6-year-old. You know, he's not a big lad, but man, yeah, right? FAFO. Seriously, I mean, that's a great alternative. Something that you could keep next to your bed, under your mattress. You know, this is absolutely defendable. You know, I wouldn't know. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look, we're talking about defending yourself and your family from a harmful situation. You have every right to defend yourself. Don't ever let anybody convince you differently. You have every right to defend yourself, no matter what. You know, if you're not into the whole knife thing and you're like, well, a screwdriver. A screwdriver. That's just a regular number 2 Phillips head screwdriver. You don't need to sharpen it. You don't got to do anything. It's an option, right? I'm trying to bring you guys some ideas and some options for tools that are readily around your house. Maybe you don't need to spend any money because you've already got these, but just to get you thinking about, all right, you know, this by the door, this by the bed, maybe this I keep next to my chair when I'm rocking and crocheting, or when I'm sitting in, you know, in wherever and drinking my, you know, hot toddy or whatever you're drinking, right? So those are some options. And then I really wanted to talk about something else, because this is something that that I thought about years and years ago. And quite honestly, I used to carry it out in the woods with me when I was younger, because I didn't have the money to buy like bear mace or anything like that. A empty bottle, spray bottle that you have around your house with a stream function and a spray function is an excellent way to potentially defend yourself. Okay? Soapy water by itself is enough of an irritant that most people will be like, man, what in the frick? And if the soap got into somebody's eyes, it could definitely do a number. However, once again, these are just my ideas. Whatever you add to that is on you. Now, one thing that I have done in years past is we used to have a raccoon problem. A bad raccoon problem. And I developed a little solution of soapy water, and I added a bottle of cinnamon extract to the bottle to deter them from coming around. They don't like the smell. Just saying. It was a good deterrent. I was a lot younger. I lived in an area where I couldn't fire a gun, so I had to do something to deter them. They would literally come and try to tear the side of my house off. Squirt bottle, soapy water, a bottle of cinnamon, works great. Another option is isopuric alcohol, you know, rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle. Get some of this in your eyes and tell me how that works out for you. Just saying, right? These are all just different options to help to defend yourself, right? You know, I'm not trying to, you know, rewrite the rules or pee on anybody's Cheerios, but it is important when it comes to, and I've had enough people say it, man, I'm just not comfortable with a firearm. Or I'm just not comfortable. And it's not, maybe not even just because of kids. It could be just because I'm just not comfortable. I don't want to do that. But I want to feel safe. Here's some options, right? Let your imagination work. You know, there's other options as well. You know, you could do a hatchet. I mean, you know, here's something. Here's something that just a piece of round bar stock. That thing's heavy. That thing's really heavy. So just a piece of round bar, you know. Anything to help defend you from being violated in any way, right? That's what this is all about. So I hope that put some spin in your brain. I hope that made you think like, that's not such a bad idea. And gives you a little bit of a, I don't know, kind of kickstart to maybe set up a small defense system in your home so that you can sleep better at night, knowing that if you hear that bump in the middle of the night, you've got something to at least go and investigate, right? Come on, bats have been used for decades, 100 years, bats, right? Could name all kinds of people that have used those. But anyway, with that being said, I'm Moose. This is FAFO Friday. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I definitely appreciate it. And we'll see you guys all soon. Till next time, God bless.